So I've been looking around and sort of partaking in the election this cycle, and there's only one candidate who I just can't see winning. Well, I take that back. There are multiple candidates I can't see winning, but he's a supposed one-time front runner, and he's deteriorated and gone down and been in decline for quite some time. And that person is Jeb Bush. Uh, where to begin? This problem stemmed from the fact that a lot of people don't want another Bush in the White House, which certainly is how I feel. And really, that's not the main issue to me, though. It's also because I feel as if there's a sense of entitlement to the office. You know, when George W. Bush ran back in 2000, and just kind of looking at it now, I don't feel as if he felt entitled to the office. Obviously, his father had served, but it's so very rare for a just I mean, it was the second time in history a son of a former president served as president. That's how rare it was. So I didn't feel anything bad about it, or I didn't have reservations, or I don't have reservations. I was only what, two, three when that happened. So I really have no opinion, but just retroactively looking at it now, it made more sense to me that he would actually get the support that elevated him to, whether we want to admit it or not, serve as president later on after being decided as the winner of the election. That being said, no time in history has it been presented to have, or it has been unprecedented to have two sons serve as president, and George H.W. Bush would become the first father in American history to have that honor, I guess. But that goes back to what I dislike. It feels as if there's an entitlement here. Oh, my brother and my father got it. That means I'll get it too. Every time the man talks, and I'll grant you this, he's very articulate. He can get his point across, and he speaks well. I'm not debating that at all. That's not up for discussion. That's fact at this point. And I expect it because when you serve as governor, I'm not even going to say that because George W. Bush wasn't as articulate as he is, but he still did what Jeb Bush is trying to do and not doing so well. The man, every time he speaks, in my view, is never able to present me with an argument as to why he realistically wants the White House. I mean, I can see it in every other person. I see it. I saw it in Walker. I saw it in Perry. They're both out now. Good riddance. No, I saw it. I see it in Trump. I see it in Cruz. I see it in Rand Paul. I see it just the whole field. They all give me convictions that they want to be president. They really want to be president. The Democrat side is the same way. He is the only person where I feel as if when he gets home, he just goes, "Oh, campaign today. Well, time to go turn the TV and go watch something else." There's no reason for me to think that he's actually dedicated to trying to get this position, because if someone is dedicated to getting an office, they're going to go out of their way. They're going to make compelling arguments. They're going to make the best debate performances. I have not seen a single footage or a clip of him that to where I'm convinced, oh yeah, that man, he wants to be the 45th president. No, nothing about him convinces me. Nothing about him assures me. Nothing about him pleases me to where I think, like, this is a guy that really wants the job and really feels as if he can do the job. I just think he just wants to be almost like a placeholder for a real change president. We had Clinton, who, you look at him as being the most popular ex-president at this point, uh, but you could argue he was original, and obviously his father never served, as being from Arkansas or Arkansas, whatever, however you pronounce it, just a state that very rarely, if probably never again, will have a presidential candidate that wins. Anyways, they have Huckabee, but he's not doing too well. But in the case of Bush, okay, so now he's a Bush from Florida. We had two from Texas, now we're getting one from Florida. But what does that really do? Who does that really serve? Who does that really help? This is my main problem with his candidacy. I don't see anything about him that makes me believe this is the guy. This is the one who is going to be the next president. This is the guy I want talking to Putin and Netanyahu and controlling our foreign policy and national security. All those different just obstacles and duties a president has to serve. I don't see him in those roles. And I'm not even I'm socially liberal and probably more liberal just with everything else, almost begging to be called a Democrat. But I don't, even then, if there, the only Republican in that field that just could sway me would be Kasich at this point. But that's another story. He's losing traction too. Um, I don't see the man as having anything that would convince me. But his other big issues are that he used what was a super PAC, and when you use those, I think it kind of gives you this expectation. Oh, we already raised 5 million. We already raised 1 million. We already raised 6 million together. Oh, we're winning. We're winning. No, you're not winning. You're raising money by donors who are wealthy, and that's going to do very little in the long run compared to donors who are in the middle class, such as myself, who can donate over and over and over again until they reach, what is it, 270,000, 2 grand, something. When they reach that number, that's that number for that one person. But when you combine that with all the people in Florida that would be supporting you or are now supporting Rubio, it really makes that super PAC look like super crap, because you're not getting a valid base to run a campaign. You're not really showing anyone or convincing anyone that, oh yeah, this is the guy to go and donate to, because you're just saying, oh well, I already have these people donating to me. I don't need anybody else. That's the whole point of the super PAC, and that's why I dislike it so much, because they feel, and it's Clinton, if I remember correctly, did the same thing. They feel that since they have this money advantage, it's going to stay that way forever, and that Clinton, that got proven wrong because Sanders is catching up to her, and pretty much about what 3, 4 people on the Republican side are catching up to Bush. So he's also going down. And these two were, again, the presumptive front runners on both sides, which Clinton still is, but Bush is trying to fight his way up there. So the other problem is, you already have his thing with entitlement, but when you compare his life story or just his, political involvement to that of the other candidates, it really makes him seem disingenuous. You have Cruz and Rubio, who both came from these kind of below middle class families and worked their way up through going to school and, got these jobs very young. Really what most people would want in their kids, regardless of whether or not they agree with their political affiliation or views, really what most people want the opportunity to do in this type of economy and environment and just modern day America. That's what most people want, being able to achieve excellence even in coming from nothing or rising out of poverty is the best way to put it. So their life stories compared to his, and I'm bringing those two up along. I'm not even gonna say Carson because he's not serious. It's his presidential book tour. So when you compare their stories to his, this rich guy that had his dad and brother serve, he really again comes off as disingenuous or as just kind of feeling entitled. I think his campaign slogan should have been Jeb entitled. They should change his last name to that or put that under his first name. They could have kept out Bush but kept entitled, or entitled to White House or something else. Because that's really all I'm seeing with him. That's really all I think most people are seeing with him. When I watch his campaign ads, that's all I think. The guy's entitled, the guy's entitled. That's the only thing that goes to my mind every single time I see him in a video. I see his face. I see him in the debates. Every time. And I think if he keeps up the way he's going to lose. And we're going to have either Rubio or Cruz as the Republican nominee.